Good morning. Good morning. Today's video is 4 costly ways you are losing energy daily. As you're coming in, go ahead and like the video. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. If you've got questions, drop them in the chat. But again, today we're talking about 4 costly ways you are losing energy daily. So, would you like to be in a high vibration all the time, but frequently you find yourself feeling tired or stressed out or perhaps pessimistic about where things are going or where things are headed? Well, if this is happening on a regular basis, we have some energy leaks we need to repair, okay? So what we're going to be talking about today are some very common things. They're often not really seen as a big deal. Some of these are very small. They seem very small, very little. In fact, they may seem like they're the right thing to do or the appropriate thing to do or the thing everybody's doing, but they're actually causing energy drain from you. So in order for you to be a very powerful manifester, you have to have your energy inside of you, okay? It has to be inside of you, projecting outwards of your own authority. It's not being taken from you, all right? So what I want you to think of is I want you to think of a boat, okay? If a boat had some holes in it, is the boat going to be able to get to its destination? Probably not. The boat is going to start to sink. And this is what happens when you have energy leaks. You may have something that you want to manifest. You may have a destination you want to get to. But because your energy is being drained from you, you start to sink. Okay? And so I want to talk about these because these are super, super important. So stay tuned. Some of these are things I haven't talked about before. So some of this is new stuff. Okay. Before we really get going, a couple quick hellos. I see we have some supers already. Thanks, guys. Mickey, thank you for the super. I see your question there. I'll get to it in a minute. Thank you so much. Adrian with the super sticker. Thank you so much, Adrian. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I've got another one here from MHO. I'll answer your question in just a moment. Thank you for your super. I'll come back to this. And then another one just came in. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you for your super sticker. Thanks, guys. Wow. Y'all are coming in hot today. Okay, also, quick hellos here. Hi to Happy Daisy. Abundant Queen is here. J. Cole is here. We have Picket Music is here. Yeri is here. My lovely assistant Mary is here today. Luis is here. Mark is here. Cowlitz Bill. Guillaume. The Sacred Feminine, Zoe, Island Joyce, Snow Sparkle, Christina, Felicia. Nice to see all of you guys. Hi, Cheryl Ann over on Facebook. Nice to see you. Hello, Alexia. Nice to see you on Instagram. Morsec5080, nice to see you. Thank Kara J. Nancy. Hello, nice to see you. Hi, Naza family. Nice to see all of you over on Instagram. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, and again, if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will answer some of these. We got a few that came in pretty quick. So let me grab one of these so I don't get too far behind. We'll grab Mickey D's first here real quick. Mickey D asked, I have a lot of energy and I like being busy. Good ideas flow to me constantly. I'm always trying to get them done. How do I know if I'm striving too much and trying too hard versus actually manifesting? Thank you. Okay, well, if you have a lot of energy and you like being busy, some people like faster paced energy. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. When it veers into the direction where you feel like you're rushing or you're feeling anxiety, that's the sign to slow back. So sometimes I talk about you want to take things easy and allow things to come. And the way that that's often interpreted from people is, Andrea is telling me to sit on the couch and do nothing and just let the money rain from the sky, okay? Well, what I mean by that is wherever you're comfortable, okay? So if you're feeling comfortable moving quickly is fine. The question is, does it feel anxious or do I feel stressed? If it veers into that territory, time to dial back the energy a little bit, okay? Great question. And thanks again for your super, Mickey. I appreciate you. All right, let's jump on in because again, today we're talking about 4 costly ways you're losing energy daily. Here's the first one. This is one I haven't talked about before, but it's something it's been coming to my attention more and more. Okay, as an energy leak that's very common that people often have, where they're bleeding their energy away from them on a day-to-day basis. And when you're not maintaining your energy, you're not able to manifest as quickly. Okay, your boat starts to sink. And so this one I'd like to call closing the gap. Okay, closing the gap. All right. So closing the gap is an energetic leak where you try to keep the flow going. And it's often seen in your interactions with other people. Okay. So let's say, for instance, that you have a friend. Okay. There's a friend that you have, you're good friends, and you notice that you've been inviting your friend out, you've been inviting them to do things, but your friend's not reciprocating, or they're reciprocating very infrequently. And so you reach out to your friend, you invite them to do something, and then it takes a long time before they want to reach back out to you. So instead of allowing that time to pass, you try to close the gap. Well, I haven't heard from him or her, so let me reach out again and see if they want to do something next. That's an example of closing the gap. Another example may be, let's say that you're texting somebody. I see this one a lot within romantic relationships. Let's say that you're going back and forth with a particular romantic interest. Okay, you're texting. And it's a nice little text exchange. And then they start hitting you with pauses or short answers like good, okay, sounds good. Closing the gap occurs where instead of just allowing the conversation to end and allowing them to come back to you when they want to talk, you try to keep the conversation going. So you reach back out again. Okay. So closing the gap is a very common energy leak for a lot of people where they want to keep relationships going. They want to keep the energy going, but instead of allowing the other person, whether it's a family member, romantic, friendship, maybe even business. You see this in business sometimes. Instead of just allowing the customer to come back, they keep pushing. Okay. So what you want to do in this case is you want to stop doing that. Okay. Understand that if there's a situation that occurs in your life where the flow has stopped, the person has stopped responding to you, or they've stopped reaching out to you, that is a sign from the universe that the flow is moving elsewhere right now. Okay. We've gotten as much juice out of this as possible, and we're being told by the universe, stop and redirect. Leave this one alone and go do something else. But if you hang in there and try to keep the flow going, what that does is it takes your energy and it starts projecting it into the external world in a way where it starts to leak from you. Okay, this is outside of my control. I need to keep the flow going rather than just accepting the flow and keeping your energy contained and moving it elsewhere where the flow is still moving. So I want you guys to be mindful of this. When there are closes in conversation, or when the energy seems to stop somewhere, stop trying to close the gap, okay? Here's one more example. I want to give one more example because there's lots of ways that this can occur. Let's say that you're at a gathering or a party, okay? And for a while, everyone's having a lot of fun, okay? And you're having a good time. But you start to notice that the energy of the party is dwindling, okay? So it's not so much fun. You kind of feel like you're hanging in there. Sometimes people will close the gap by trying to keep the party going, trying to move it to another location, okay? So they start bleeding their energy into trying to make something happen. Instead, if you start to notice that things are fizzling, time for you to stop and move on, okay? I hope that one is helpful. Again, that one is called closing the gap. And again, this is about honoring the flow and going with the flow. And while I'm mentioning the flow, real quick, you guys know I put all my courses on sale at least once a year, or only once a year, excuse me. I put all my courses on sale once a year. The one that's coming up next is my Go with the Flow course. So that's a good segue. This one is called Relax and Detach. Okay, so for those of you who have not seen this program before, this program is about teaching you to let go. Okay, so coming up in October, this one will be going on its once a year sale. So it will be on its lowest price of the year, 50% off sale. And so this one's really good if letting go is something that's been challenging for you. All right, so if you find at times that you feel fear or frustration at the subject of letting go of your desires, or if you're dealing with overthinking or rumination, or perhaps you're in a situation where you feel like it's hard for you to look at your current reality without dwelling on your limiting beliefs. So you're looking into your reality. It's very hard for you to let go of what's going on. This program addresses all of these things, and it's going to help you learn how to trust that if you surrender your desires, things will just work out for you. So if this is a program that you think may be valuable to you, I do invite you to go ahead and sign up for the notifications for that one, because I'll send you the coupon code when that one goes live so you can check it out and see if it's something that you're a good fit for. Again, that one is called Relax and Detach. That's the next one going on sale at the end of October. That's the business. What are we gonna do here? That's good. Let's take that off. Where'd my comments go? Here we go. We got some more questions here. Let me grab another question real quick before we move forward. MHO, thank you so much for the super. MHO asks, I got my first son last year. However, I found I was pregnant 2 days after I ended the trauma bond with my abusive ex. I feel stuck with him for the next X amount of years. Can I manifest him away? Yes, you can. You can manifest him literally gone. You can manifest a change in how the dynamic goes. The big thing is, if you're having a trauma bond with an abusive ex, is that we have to find a new way to relate to the abusive ex. And actually, the first thing that I just talked about, by the way, if you're dealing with trauma bonds or narcissistic relationships, the first one that I mentioned is actually a hallmark feature of those, okay? Where the abusive person may try to trigger you into closing the gap, okay? And so this is something that you would want to avoid if at all possible. So when it comes to these types of scenarios with people, you want to kind of keep it short, keep it to business, okay? Keep it to business. The big thing is we don't want to react emotionally to the abuser, because that's how we stay stuck in the cycle. Instead, you want to develop emotional control to the point where whatever they say is fine. They can say whatever they want. I'm only going to respond if they're being respectful. I'm only going to respond if they are engaging in a way that's in the flow. If they're not, time to close the gap. Don't try to explain it to them, just step away. Okay, so that's one of the big things with this type of thing, is that you only want to be responding to your ex when the conversation is productive. And when it's not, I'm sorry, I gotta go. Have a nice day. Okay, do not respond emotionally. Do not engage in fighting. That's a waste of time because it just keeps that active. Okay, good luck to you. Good question. Really good question. Oh, we got another couple supers here. Katharina, thank you so much for your super. I hope I said your name right. Is it Katharina or Katarina? Regardless, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Alexandra with a super. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Alexandra asks, hi, Andrea. I often get momentum in business, but then everything crashes. Partners quit, progress stops. How do I break this cycle? See it as part of your growth rather than as a stop. Okay? See it. This is the challenge. This is the challenge I need to master to level up, rather than this is a sign that I screwed up. The universe is putting in front of me a moment where business slows down. So I have the opportunity to maintain my vibration or to think positively in the face of this to resolve this conflict. Does that make sense? What usually happens, like business is one of those things, it's always changing. Sometimes the customers are coming in, sometimes not so much, sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much. And so for a business person, that's part of the journey, is learning how to manage those moments when the traffic isn't as high and not to allow it to derail you. So when it happens, good, I'm glad this is happening because this is teaching me how to maintain my vibration no matter what. Let this keep happening to me until I figure this out, universe. Keep this happening to me until I really figure this out. Now, when you look at it that way, you invite in that. It's okay. This is going to help me rather than don't stop doing this. Okay. And whatever you validate helps you. Okay. Excellent question, Alexandra. Very, very good. Very, very good. Again, guys, today we're talking about 4 costly ways you are losing energy daily. The first one I mentioned is closing the gap. Okay. When something's done, it's done. Okay. Stop trying to close the gap with other people. Stop trying to keep the party going. When it slows down, that's the universe's way of saying time to redirect. Okay, let's move into the next one. Here's the next one. Paying attention to unwanted behavior or unwanted things in general, but unwanted behavior in particular. Because one thing that I've noticed is that most people really struggle if someone's behaving badly. So we had a question about an abusive ex a minute ago. If I've got someone in my reality who's being abusive or being mean, I feel like I somehow need to pay attention to this. This is an injustice. I need to pay attention to it. I need to pay it my attention. That's a huge energy leak. Okay, huge energy leak. Instead, what we only want to be paying attention to is that is what we want. Okay, what it is that we want. Got tongue tied there. Okay, so like I was just mentioning with the abusive ex, if you have somebody in your reality who's acting crazy, that's the time to ignore them. When they want to talk to you and be respectful, that's the time to pay attention to them. Okay, this is how you maintain your energy. When you get in there with unwanted things, you start to leak out your energy into the external world. What you're saying is, this is outside of my control. I need to get in there and fix this. So let me tell you a story real quick. This is the tale of 2 restaurants, okay? The tale of 2 restaurants. So way, way back when I was very young, I had a job, and I've mentioned this a long time ago, but at a Chi-Chi's restaurant. Are any of you old enough to remember the Chi-Chi's restaurant chain? Well, I had a job there. I did everything at Chi-Chi's. I waited tables, I hosted, I bussed tables. I even cooked on the line for a while. So I did all that stuff. But anyway, way back when, we had this woman, and she would always come in on Sundays. Okay, she came back every Sunday, brought her family, a little table of 4, and she was the world's biggest pain. Okay. So she came in every week. She always ordered the same thing. She was very particular, but she would always send things back. She would always complain. She would always push back. And so the manager would just appease her. He would make sure that whenever she showed up, his best server is the one that got her. We need the best person on this team. Her food goes to the best line cook. Okay. We're going to go out and check and make sure all of her food's ready. Now, what ended up happening? Well, because the manager was paying attention to this unwanted customer, she just kept coming back and terrorizing the staff. Nobody wanted to work on on Sundays. Nobody wanted to work on Sundays. Nobody wanted to be there because nobody wanted to deal with this woman. Okay. And see, that's what happens when you guys pay attention to unwanted behavior. The better move would have been when she came in, the manager really didn't pay much attention to her at all. Refused to comp her food. After she did this a couple times, just ignore her because we're paying attention to something and creating more of it. Now, I said this is the tale of 2 restaurants because I have another restaurant and I've seen them do the opposite, okay? Now, in my town, we have lots of pizza joints. So I live in Florida, and so we get lots of transplants from New York. And the New Yorkers will always tell you that they make the best pizza. And I think it's true because all these New York-owned pizza joints are pretty good in my town. But we have one that's the best. Okay, we've got one, in my opinion, they're the best. And not only do I think they're the best, they always are busy. They are packed. They've got pizza flying off the shelves left and right. Well, one day I had to go in and pick up a pizza from this pizza place. And so I go to the place and I'm waiting, and they're a little busy. The staff is in a good mood. There's a bunch of people there. They're making money. But I'm sitting there waiting to be served, waiting at the counter, and I happen to look across the counter and I notice they have this big sign up and it's got a list of phone numbers on it. And in big letters, it's like, we do not accept orders from any of these phone numbers. And I'm like, what is this? And I realize I'm like, oh, these are difficult customers. That's what they are. They're difficult customers. And this pizza joint has decided we're just not going to deal with them. Now, I'm telling you this is the tale of two restaurants, because if you guys know anything about Chi-Chi's, which you may not, Chi-Chi's went under. Okay, at the time that I was working there, it was already starting to lose its appeal, and it's no longer with us. Back in the day, it was like a Chili's or an Applebee's, but it no longer exists. But they were in the business of paying attention to unwanted. This restaurant, on the other hand, didn't want to deal with it. We're not even going to pay attention to these people. We're only going to pay attention to our good customers. And they were booming. So I want you guys to remember this, okay, at all times. You want to pay attention to good behavior. You want to pay attention to good outcomes. You want to ignore bad outcomes. Another example is from when I used to teach, okay? So when I was a teacher, it was the same thing. A lot of teachers would struggle with classroom management. The reason why is they spent all their time leaking their energy onto the students who were misbehaving. They spent all their time focusing on misbehaving students, and so therefore they attracted more of that into their classroom. Now, when I learned this dynamic, I learned to only pay attention to the behavior of the good students, to always be focusing in on that. And when I did that, the rest of the classroom would shift because I was maintaining my power. I wasn't giving it away to unwanted scenarios. So keep that in mind. Very, very important. Come through. I haven't answered any questions in a minute. I'm Lily Rain says, hi, Andrea. You often hear people say something, for instance, a business worked the 10th time they tried it. How do you know when to keep trying and when to give up because it's not for you? Thank you. Oh, I would say that's really an internal thing. You ever get that feeling like, I just got to keep at this? I can figure this out. If you have that kind of feeling, like, I want to take another whack at this. I didn't quite get it. Keep at it. But if it feels like, I don't even want to do this anymore, what are we doing? Okay? So really dial into your own compass. If it's something that you want to keep doing it. Because what may be happening is kind of like what I mentioned over here with the question about business, is that maybe there's something that you want success in business, but there's some kind of block you kind of have to clear out. The business will keep showing you that block until you clear it. So if you still keep feeling like going at it, it's kind of like, all right, I still need to resolve this one. And eventually you will. Okay. But if it's like, I don't even want to be doing this anymore, then what are we doing? Okay. That's the real thing. Check in with yourself. Is it something I even want to be doing? If it is, keep at it. Miriam, thank you so much. You bought almost all of my courses and your favorite one was the sales magnet. Oh, that's the new one. Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked it, Miriam. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Glad that one was well received. Thank you so much. Sherry remembers Chi-Chi's. Adrian remembers Chi-Chi's. Okay. That's way back in the archives. Way back. All right. Katharina, thank you so much. Oh, another super. Okay, thank you so much. At 38, I try to look younger through face massages. They worked well at 35, but now I've become outcome dependent and they don't work anymore. Yes. Not yes, like that's so good. Great, congratulations. But yes, you get the dynamic, right? Outcome dependent. And a lot of times this will happen, guys, where if you find a new product or a new service, you're really excited about it. This might work. This might do something. And that optimism, the optimism is what created the result. But if you keep doing it, keep going back to the well and the optimism may wane out of it. So what I would say is just throw that one out and What's the next one that, I have some optimism about? Okay. Thanks for bringing that up. I've seen that dynamic myself. All right, guys, again, today we're talking about 4 costly ways you're losing energy daily. You got to keep the foundation of your boat needs to be sealed, okay? The energy needs to be within you. You do not leak your energy out into the external world, okay? So one of the ways that we do this is by trying to close the gap, trying to chase the flow or to keep the flow going. No. The flow's just moving and I'm moving with it, okay? Just like a boat's running with the current, it's not trying to change the current. Don't close the gap. The next one is paying attention to unwanted behavior or unwanted things. Don't forget that you're the one in charge, okay? When stuff is going on out there that you don't like, you can stop it. And the way that you stop it is by withdrawing your energy and your attention from it. Don't be paying attention to the cranky lady at Chi-Chi's, okay? She's just going to keep coming back. All right. So instead, you want to be paying attention to those students that you like their behavior, the people that are doing things good. That's how you maintain your energetic balance. Now, the next one, we got 4. Here's number 3. Accepting the outside world's unwanted definitions, accepting other people's unwanted definitions, accepting definitions that the external world gives you. Okay. Your power is within you. You're the one creating your reality. You're the one that gets to decide what is real and what's not. You're the one that gets to decide the definitions. When your external world comes to you and gives you a definition you don't like, reject it and move on. If you accept that definition, you start to bleed your energy back into the external world. You start to give your power over to the external world. Okay? So what do I mean by this? Let's go back to the story with the woman at Chi-Chi's, okay? When she comes in and complains about the food, okay, or whatever it is, the service, the manager took that as a definition that was true. Well, we're not doing good enough. We're not working hard enough. We're not providing a good enough service. He accepted her unwanted definition. You see? Now, the pizza place instead didn't do that. If somebody called in and wanted to harass them, we're not accepting what you have to say. We know we have a good product. We know we have a good service. We're not accepting that. You guys do this a lot. Okay, where maybe somebody comes to you and tells you you're not doing a good job. You didn't try hard enough. You said that the wrong way. You didn't Whenever that's going on, you have a choice whether to accept what that person is telling you or to reject it. So this is a big thing. Now, this one I would say really causes or facilitates stronger feelings of not having self-worth than probably all the other ones. Is that if you start accepting negative definitions, it can start to erode away at your self-worth. Again, you need to understand, you are the king or the queen of your reality. You are the one creating everything. And so it's absolutely of paramount importance that you have a very high definition of yourself. You think very highly of yourself. You believe that what you're doing is right and just and fair and honest. And if somebody has something to say about it, that's on them. Let them have it, but don't feed into it. Don't take that on as your definition. Okay, I see this happening a lot with people, and it causes people to get stuck in very low vibrational energy because they are leaking out all of their positive energy into the external world. Okay, so we cannot be doing this. Another way that this happens, this one, because I got the question about the abusive relationships, so I want to mention this one too. I always jot down some examples, and here's another one. In abusive relationships, you might see this, okay? So let's say that you're in a relationship with someone who's treating you badly, okay? They're treating you badly. You know that you're in the right. You know that it's right for you to walk away or for you to hang up the phone or you to discontinue the conversation. You know that it's right. But because you do something, you do that, they come back at you and say something like, well, you were wrong to do that. You used a bad tone with me. The reason that I did this to you is because you did that. And they put it back on you like it's your fault. Now, if you buy that definition, you stay stuck in the abusive cycle. And I'm saying this from experience because the question about abuse kind of stuck with me because I came from an abusive home. So I came from a narcissistic family structure. And I know how common this is, where you can get stuck in these cycles where the external person is telling you, you're bad, you're wrong, you did it wrong, you're the reason that I hit you, you're the reason that I yelled at you. And if you take that definition, you stay stuck in that dynamic with that person. So the way that you get out of it is deciding, you can tell me whatever you want. Tell me I'm bad. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I had the wrong tone of voice. It doesn't matter. I know I'm right. That's your attitude you need to have. Now, when you have that attitude, you don't need to fight with the abuser. Just know it and stop paying attention to the unwanted situation. Okay? I hope that makes sense. A lot of people, there's a lot of content out there now about narcissistic abuse. And the interesting thing is, when I was growing up in it, I didn't think anybody else was going through it. I thought I was the only person. And as the internet has flourished and I've seen so much content about this and talked to so many of you that have gone through the same thing, I'm actually quite astounded. I think it was pretty freaking normal that people are doing this and getting stuck into these patterns. And so we have to learn how to empower ourselves not to give our energy away to these situations. It's very important. Peace, thank you for the super. Just a warm hello to everyone here on the live call. If you're here, you're already a manifestation pro. Yes, exactly. Exactly. If you can hear what I'm saying, yeah. Fitness Fairy wants to be like my brother and not care. But how am I going to get stuff done and achieve things if I don't care? My own brother is a couch potato and eats whatever he wants because he doesn't care. We need to understand what caring is and what caring isn't. Okay? Caring is worry. That's the problem with care. So if you care about eating right, or if you care about getting stuff done, what you're saying is, I'm worried about this. And that's not the way that you want to approach your goals. You don't want to be approaching, getting the things that you want done from a place of worry of, oh, what if it doesn't get done? It has to be more from a place of, I have the opportunity to do this. This would be fun for me. And if it's not fun for me, I'll go do something else. I can be okay either way. People think that the care is what causes them to get things done. Care is not what causes you guys to do anything. What causes you guys to do things is joy and excitement. That's what causes you to do things. The things that you're doing because you care to get them done are actually things that, by and large, are holding you back. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Good question. Proof Rock, thank you for the super. Proof Rock, how to reject my own obsessive energy over a guy and focus on myself. It feels uncontrollable that my energy is leaking out onto the situation. Yeah, okay. If you're going, did you go through a breakup maybe? Or sometimes it could be a pattern of abuse. I don't know what's causing this necessarily, okay? But the big thing is to just keep redirecting. If you get to the point where you are obsessed, and this does happen, okay? You're not the only one this happened to. This happens to a lot of people. If you get to the point where you're obsessed about a topic, the natural inclination is for the momentum to keep going, because the law of attraction just keeps thoughts coming to you that you're already thinking, all right? So the first thing is to understand that, okay, it's normal that these thoughts are coming up because we already have a lot of momentum going. I'm not doing anything wrong. This is all kind of spiraled out of control, and that's fine. I can expect that these thoughts are going to come up, and that's okay. When I notice them, I'm simply going to redirect. So instead of going back through the text history or ruminating over him or looking back at his pictures, okay? When I notice these thoughts are coming up, that's a sign to redirect. So every time I notice that I'm obsessing, let's go do something else. What's the most distracting thing I could do right now? Now, for me, I would say something distracting would probably be something funny. So I like things like comedy or watching like funny videos. Those are easy for me to get lost in. So that's a gimme. Or maybe you have an activity that you like to do, or maybe you have a friend who's good at keeping your mind off of things. But every single time that comes up, redirect, redirect. When it comes up, thank you for the opportunity to remind me to redirect. Just like I mentioned before with that business energy, instead of why is this happening? Thank you for reminding me to redirect. That will start to amplify your redirection energy and you'll start to veer away from those thoughts. But give yourself a little bit of time and a little bit of grace, because initially it's going to kind of keep whacking you for a minute. Just keep at it. It will get easier, easier, easier. And it will quickly slide into you being able to move away from it, provided you just keep validating yourself and moving forward with that process. Okay, the big thing that keeps people in this is that when they have those thoughts, they go there. They put on the old song that you used to listen to, looking at the videos, looking at the photos. We want to stop that entirely. Redirect, 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 and give yourself some grace. Okay. All right, guys, again, today we're talking about 4 costly ways you're using energy daily. And hey, I forgot again, back to this. If you haven't yet, and you've been watching me now for 35 minutes, please make sure to subscribe, okay? Subscribe to the channel, like the video if you haven't yet, and make sure to turn on your notifications because I do go live, usually once a week. In addition to that, if you are new to my work and you have not yet, please make sure to take my manifesting test. Okay, so this is a free test. It only takes 5 minutes, and it allows you to put something out and watch it come back so that you get your own evidence that the law of attraction really does work and that you really are the creator of your own reality. So to take that test, you can go to manifestingtest.com. The links will be in the description of this video, along with in the link tree in my bio on Instagram. But manifestingtest.com is the direct link. All right. Costly ways you're losing energy daily. Okay. We've talked about closing the gap. We've talked about paying attention to unwanted behavior. Stop doing that. We've talked about accepting other people's unwanted definitions. You make your definitions. Decide that you are good and right and just, and nobody can tell you anything. Okay, that's very important. The next one we've got here, accepting low energy from others. Okay, and a lot of you are guilty of this one, and not because you're bad people, but because you're nice people and you care, but you need to stop it. Okay. You need to stop it. Accepting low energy from other people. What does this mean? You ever have a friend who's going through a hard time and you just sit on the phone with that friend day after day after day? Do you ever have a family member who comes over to your house and wants to complain about their job every time they come to your house? This is something that is a huge energy leak. Okay, is this idea that it is somehow your job to solve other people's problems or to bolster their mood, to make them feel better, to make their problems go away. You should be supportive. You should help people in their time of need. Now, I'm not saying if you have somebody that you care about and they're going through a rough time, you can't check in. Or, if someone's aunt died, you can't go to the funeral. That's not what I'm saying. Please don't take it to that level, okay? But what I'm saying is you do not want to become emotionally entangled and enmeshed with people who habitually are displaying signs of low energy, okay? Because then what you are doing is you are starting to agree that they are disenfranchised, that there are problems in the world, that this isn't a good place. And what you're always going to notice, okay, always, I guarantee all of you have seen this. Any single person that you have given an extensive amount of energy to who's in low energy, over time, they've gotten worse, not better. They have not improved. They have not become more optimistic. They have not become more successful. Over time, they've stayed stuck. And the reason why is that, again, we're paying attention to something we don't like. And we're leaking out all of our energy. And so now we're starting to sink and we're matching up with them. So there's that old adage that you are the company that you keep, and that you're like the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is something a lot of you probably have heard. That's true. Okay. So you really want to take inventory in your closest relationship, the people that you're giving the most airtime to. You do not want to be giving those positions to people who are habitually in low energy. Okay. Because you are simply going to be losing your energy to meet them. So this is a very important thing to be doing. Do not be hanging out with Debbie Downer. You're not helping them. And so that's the big misconception that people have, is that I'm being nice, I'm being helpful, I'm being kind, but you're not helping them. Okay? You're agreeing with them. You're agreeing with them that there's problems in the world. You're agreeing with them that life sucks. And so now not only do they stay there, but now you sink there with them. Okay, so you can do all the work in the world, to do all your affirmations and to do your meditations and do your journaling. You can do all that stuff. But if you're getting on the phone with Debbie Downer for an hour every day, forget it. Okay. Your boat has a huge leak and you need to patch it. Now, you don't need to be mean to these people. You don't need to tell them to get out of your life. Just withdraw your attention. Okay. Again, only be picking up the phone and talking when the conversation is productive. Only be dealing with people when they're in high energy. If they're not, universe is telling you, time to back it up. Let them solve their problem. They can and they will on their own. Juliana, let me make sure I got all these. Louise hasn't called me out yet for missing any, so I think I've got them all so far. All right, Juliana, thank you so much. I have no idea how much that is, but it looks like a lot. So thank you. How to manifest healing from a shoulder injury. It's 6 months, so I can play badminton again, train upper body with weight and pain-free, because my knees sometimes hurts too. Okay. You know what I do? So I tell you guys this all the time. I work out all the time. Okay. I work out all the time. And periodically I do get injuries. Okay. It happens. So my big thing for this is, well, one of them is, what's the injury trying to show me? Okay. Is this injury trying to teach me anything? So for you guys, like if you ever have something flare up, one thing I do recommend, if you've ever heard of Louise Hay, she's got kind of this list of definitions for what that can mean. There can be metaphysical meanings for your injuries. So you might want to look that up. Okay. But in addition to that, do other things. So maybe I can't play badminton right now, but this is an opportunity for me to maybe work on something else physical that I wouldn't have worked on if my shoulder had been fine. Okay. So for instance, I think I talked about this a while ago. I had gotten plantar fasciitis. Okay. So I had hurt my feet, so I couldn't run. So I'm like, well, what else could I do? Maybe I'll try something different. And so, I can't run. So let me go do something I never would have done before, but maybe it'll be fun to see if I can do this too, or do this instead. And so I decided to start doing the bike, which is not as aggressive of a cardio workout as running is. But now that my foot has healed, I've found that I actually prefer the bike. So it actually worked out in my favor. So what I'm telling you is not that you have to throw badminton out, but look at this as an opportunity to do another type of physical activity that you wouldn't have done if you had gotten injured. This way you're looking at it as a win. I'm going to win something from this rather than fighting against what's going on. So I'm going to give this shoulder time to rest, but I'm going to use this as an opportunity to do something else. Okay? That's kind of my go-to with the injury. So try that one out. Fairy Dragon, thank you for the super. She asked, Dear Andrea, how can I manifest my mom and me looking young and beautiful again? We have issues with hair loss, teeth, wrinkles, and spots around the eyes. Yeah. The interesting thing about aging is that, the more you pay attention to it, the more it starts to creep up on you, right? So, okay. So, you ever met somebody, and I remember distinctly, there was a time I was talking to somebody, and they looked a certain way. This is the way this person usually looks. But during the conversation that I was having with her, She was really lit up about something. We were having this, she was very joyful, very excited. It was like I saw a totally different person. It looked like she had lost like 10 years off of her life while I was talking to her. And that image has always stuck with me because it really speaks to what's important about vitality. Okay. So vitality is about energy, right? And so one of the reasons that children look so youthful and have so much vitality, they have all that energy in them. They haven't learned all these stupid limitations. They haven't been listening to people tell them how bad they are. And so they're maintaining that youthful energy inside of them. Okay. And so that's one of the things to understand is that I want to maintain as much energy as I can. And I want to place definitions on myself that I like. Okay. So I am young, I am beautiful is what we're reaching for. We might not be there yet, but understand that maybe right now what's going on is that I've been doing one of these things that Andrea is talking about, which is accepting definitions from the outside world. Well, the outside world told me that when I turned, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 or whatever, I was going to have this problem, this problem, this problem, and this problem. And so I accepted that. And so now my appearance is starting to show that more and more. Now, that's what a lot of people are doing. We're all kind of doing it because we're all hearing that all the time. But understand that the power is in reclaiming your definitions. So it's always possible to look better. This is another thing I've noticed recently too. I don't know why, and I'm not going to call these celebrities out because that's just mean. But I was noticing that there are some celebrities that age horribly. Like they were so hot when they were in their 20s and 30s. And today it's like, what happened? And then there's others that it's like nothing happened at all. If anything, some of them look better than they did when they were younger. So what's the difference? They're all rich. They all have access to plastic surgeons. They all have access to the best plastic surgery, Botox, fillers money can buy. So why are some looking younger and some looking older? It's because that stuff isn't what's going on. It's the energy inside of them. Okay. So think about that. Okay. Great question, Fairy Dragon. Appreciate you. Thank Era J Nancy. I hope I said that right. Okay, on Instagram. I still live with my husband with whom I plan to divorce, but I haven't done the paperwork for 4 years. I don't have the courage to do it with kids in play. How do I keep my energy up? Hmm. Have you made a firm decision that you're going to stay? If you've made a firm decision that you're going to stay, then the way you want to play it is I'm going to assume that it's amicable and that it's not abusive, okay? If it's abusive, my advice would be different, all right? But assuming that it's an amicable relationship, we're just not together anymore, okay? And I've decided that this is the better option, then that's what you need to play up in your mind. This is the correct option. This is the best option for me right now. So now I'm accepting it and appreciating it for what it is, rather than I'm somewhere I don't want to be. If what you're saying is, this is where I want to be, and that's what you mean, then accept that. This is where I want to be. Rather than, I want to be here, but I don't want to be here, or this is wrong for me to be here, or maybe I should move on. No. I decided this is the best place for me to be right now. Now what that infuses into the home is, this is the best place for me. So I can be at peace with it, even if he's here. Does that make sense? Because what's going on is in your mind, you're saying, okay, we're getting divorced. I don't want to be with this person, but I need to be with this person. That's not true. You can walk. You can walk if you want to. But if you've decided that this is the path of least resistance, this is the path that I like the most, then accept that as your definition and don't fight against it. I don't have to be with this guy forever. Right now, this works. Does that make sense? Okay. Sometimes when the problem, and this kind of another energy leak is, this is what I want, but what if it's this? Do I want it? Is it wrong? Is this the wrong choice or is this the right choice? Okay. The universe likes firm choice. This is what I'm doing. Okay. Not this is what I'm doing, but it's kind of wrong. This is what I'm doing. Okay. So if you've decided this is what you're doing, this is what I'm doing. Hope that helps. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. I would just look at it as this is good for me and the kids right now. I like my kid. I want my kids to be around my husband. We're getting along. It's nice that they can be around my husband. They can be around me, and that's good. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. Validate it, okay? Ooh, this looks like an interesting question. Okay, Alice. Hi, Andrea. I take care of a colony of stray cats. Oh my gosh. And we're going through a difficult problem, a difficult period. There's some problems and we've had to move their shelters. I'm always worried. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, the cat. What's wrong with them moving their shelters? Oh, okay. Let's not assume that what's going on for the cats is a problem. Maybe this is a good thing for the cats. This is a good thing for the cats. Maybe there's a problem moving the shelters, so it's a better shelter coming. Who knows? Maybe Mittens didn't like the handler at this one, so that's why this happened, to get her over here. Don't assume that that there's a problem that's going on when a shift is being made. Assume that a door is opening rather than a door is closing. Okay? And please understand, if I'm worried, then my worriedness is creating the problems. That's it. The cats can be perfectly fine. Not your job to save the cats either. This isn't, I got a question about this on another live recently, and it had to do with like joining movements or, I don't know, doing things where you're trying to help people who are disenfranchised. You want to look at it, there's two ways to look at it. One is, I'm helping these cats with their problems, which is me focusing on all these poor cats. Okay, now I'm worried, and now there's a worried situation going on. Or these cats found me because they know how to manifest their best life. So we're leveling up together. So now I'm working with a set of empowered cats. Do you see? That's how I'd be looking at it. If a stray wandered into my house, that's the luckiest stray ever wandered in the house. It's got me now. Okay, rather than this poor cat. Okay, think about it that way. Mm-hmm. I love this question. Okay. Chelsea says, hi, Andrea. I've been doing well manifesting for a while, but I've been pondering this lately. How do we manifest good events for the world and not just ourselves? Like peace, not war. Okay. It's a much bigger question than you may realize. You are the creator of your world. Okay? Your world. If it's not happening in your world, it doesn't matter. I don't mean that other people's suffering isn't relevant somewhere in the scheme of the eternal, but your world is your world. Here's what often happens. Your world is going along just fine, okay? Things are clipping along. You got money in the bank. You got food in your fridge. You got running water. A lot of you guys have decent health. Things are going good. And then you flip on your television or you scroll through Instagram and you see something that somebody posted or somebody said about something happening somewhere else, and you accept that definition into your reality. This is one of the energy leaks, okay? So the Instagram was telling me that there's conflict. So now I'm accepting that conflict and saying, yes, there's conflict in my world. Now, when I do that, I exacerbate the conflict. So what I'm trying to explain here, hopefully, is that some of you guys are noticing and lining up with a lot more of this conflict stuff that's going on in the world. and it's becoming more dominant in your universe because you're paying attention to it. Some of you guys are like not worried about any of that, and you're minding your own vibrational business. And those of you who are doing that, you're seeing things very differently. You're seeing all the good that's coming in. You're seeing things that are working. You are seeing peace. Okay. So this question is about, again, minding our own. If my world's good, my world is good. Doesn't matter what Instagram says. And again, not my job to solve other people's problems. That's the other thing. Okay, so if I look at this stuff and I think these poor people, like with the cats, these poor cats, well, now the cats are going to have more problems because I'm worried about the cats. Instead, if it showed up in my reality, these must be some empowered people if they're showing up in my world. So if I scroll through Instagram and I see that there's some people protesting something, well, they must be some empowered people because if they're showing up in my feed, that's what we got here. So those people are empowered. And then I project that onto them. Does that make sense? Very easy to get seduced into thinking that there's a bunch of problems. But again, you're the one creating your world. So you decide. And the way you decide is by the definitions that you put on things. Hope that makes sense. It's a big question. Luis with the confirmation. I got all the super. Thank you for keeping track, Luis. I appreciate you. And thank you for the super. Thank you so much. Yeah, Luis keeps me in check. I'm trying. I'm definitely trying. Snow Sparkle. I'm in better shape at 51 than I was in my 20s. I'm with you. I'm in better shape at 45 than I was in my 20s by a mile. So it's a question of what definitions are we putting out there? The aging one's a big one. I mean, you guys get hit with this. Like, oh, you're just going to fall apart. I was at the eye doctor the other day. I had to go to the eye doctor because, okay, I don't like going to doctors. Okay, it's just, I prefer not to if I can avoid it because of this thing that often happens that happened with the eye doctor. So I've been putting off my eye appointment for like 4 years now. So I wear contacts and glasses. My prescription's not that bad, but you got to go in and get your prescription renewed so that the contact place will accept your prescription. And you're supposed to get it done every year. Well, I haven't gone in like 4 years because the contact place kept accepting my expired prescription. So I'm like, I'm not going to go. So I didn't go. Well, anyway, ran out of contacts, go to refill them, and finally caught up with me. They're like, no, this is an expired prescription. You need to go to the doctor. Okay. So I go to the eye doctor. Very nice man. I like him a lot. He's very friendly, very upbeat. But here's the deal, okay? So I go in for my eye exam, and it should be pretty simple and straightforward, Look here, look there. This is your script. Have a nice day. Is that where it ended? Oh, no. We had to have a conversation about how now that I'm in my 40s, I need to watch out for this and this. And is this happening? And you need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm like, what is this? Okay. This is what's happening to you guys out there is that people are telling you you're old and you're accepting it. Okay. So you need to kind of have the attitude that I typically have with this, which is like, okay, buddy, thanks. That's his definition, not mine. He thinks that I'm going to have these problems. I don't. Okay. That's what's going to keep you guys getting into the younger energy. Okay. Or prevent you from falling as far into the older energy. Stop accepting these definitions from these well-meaning people. He's a very nice man, but I can't. I can't with that. All right, guys, another quick reminder. The next course that's going on sale will be in October. Okay, so all of my programs go on sale once a year only. The one that's going on sale in late October is my letting go and detaching program. Okay, so this one's one that more people would find useful than the sales one, because the sales one is really just for the salespeople that Miriam was talking about earlier. But letting go is a topic that a number of people struggle with. Okay. So if you have a hard time, feeling fear or frustration at the subject of letting go of your desires, or if you're dealing with a lot of overthinking or rumination, and that's getting in the way of your ability to manifest, or if you struggle to trust that if you just let go, it will work out. A lot of people just don't want to let go because they just can't trust. This program will be very helpful to you. Okay, so the name of the program that will be going on its sale is Relax and Detach. And so again, this is my letting go program. It only goes on sale once per year. And so late next month, it will be on its 50% off sale. So if you're interested in learning more about that program or getting the discount code when it goes live with that sale, please go ahead and sign up for the notifications for that one. The link, of course, is in the description of this video. Link is also in the link tree in my bio. Also, so my next live will be 1 week from today. So next Sunday, I will be back, same time, same place. Thanks so much for the supers, guys. It's about time for me to sign off. Quick reminder, if you have not yet, make sure to go ahead and subscribe, like the video, turn on your notifications. If you're not, sure which kind of courses you might like, I've got lots of courses that you can look at. I have links for all of those in the description of my video and in the link tree in my bio. And also, if you're interested in becoming a member, I do have a membership platform as well. So you can check out the link to my membership program to see if you'd be a good fit for that. But thanks again for showing up, guys. We got a lot of people writing in with supers today. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And of course, I look